Hello everyone, welcome to the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition. Now you might recognize this indie game back from 2013, but it got a re-release roughly 9 to 10 years later, and we're back at the office. And I've heard there is an immense amount of endings. Now I haven't played the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe before, but I think this will be an enjoyable experience. And I, Stanley, can't stand this. Let's get out there and see what's going on.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
All right.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Okay. Oh, holy crap, that sensitivity. We need to fix that. Pardon me for a second there, sir. Okay, holy goodness. Okay, the developer didn't think the mouse sensitivity through. Alright. That's much better. Alright! Hello? Tickety-ticky. Oh, one gives me orders. Right. So I've heard there are 42 endings to this game. And we're gonna get all of them. So I want to do some exploration and see what happens in this episode. Yeah, the Stanley Parable, a very ominous game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps. But well, the printer's still running. Interesting. Now this game is
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Who farted? Alright, fine. We'll go. We're just gonna follow orders. That's what we're here for. Hello? Anyone? Bob? 417. Ooh, doors.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay. Why not?
This was not the correct
I
way to
love
the meeting
following
room,
orders.
And Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, I was supposed to go to the left door. Okay, wow. I'm got all my directions switched around. How silly of me. Where's Bobby? Bobby, my friend from high school. 449? 450. Okay. Ah! Some snacks.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring.
Yes.
It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply
$1.25.
stood here, drinking it all in.
That was some good soda right there. I can't get my soda.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Okay, fine, I'll
But
go.
eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Ah, okay, just this
And
once.
so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I'll just continue. I mean, nothing's gonna happen. Ooh.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Alright, I can do that. The future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Push for funding for research and development of new coffee machine. Seems pretty nice. Standardized graphs 40 times wide. Not a cost efficient. Okay. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Shucks, thank you. I, Stanley, press the door. Broom closet. Oh, just continue.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. This is a very, interesting way of getting up there. Surely there's an elevator or something. Damn. This game looks nice. Definitely an indie title, but stand back, everything looks sharp.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Okay.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He
Dude,
stepped
you
into the
told me
newly
what to
opened
do.
passageway.
Hello? Ooh, shiny. Mwah. Alright, big red button. I press big red buttons. Anytime you see a big red button, you just slap that bad boy. Even if it says don't press, you press that sucker.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest.
No, that was the
as though he
sushi.
felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
What the fuck? Thought I got shot. But I'm alive. Okay.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nah. I am Stanley. I like following instructions. I don't want to think for myself. I want to do what I'm told.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
How many TV screens do you need? Mind control facility. Okay. Nothing there. Employee observation protocol. 48. In case of a class 3 event, closed system gates and consult with the supervisor. Prime your consoles for info dump. Oh, okay. Seems legit.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I will not tolerate this. I'm employee 247. C 247. My camera's just aimed at a filing cabinet? How weird.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Ugh. Think I'm about to shed a tear.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it.
That's just my allergies.
Someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I guess I was.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
But I like mind control.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Yes.
After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself.
That's
is that
right.
What you wanted?
That is what they deserve.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off.
Never.
Leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode.
Oh,
eliminating
wonderful.
the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley?
Oh gosh.
It's your time to shine.
Yeah, okay, I got this.
Star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy
just
it.
making life
Mere
interesting.
moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments.
Enable
each one
backup
of them
power to
is.
activate.
More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start.
1.
What's
2.
that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are?
Yeah, I sure do.
A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you
Excuse
exactly
me?
what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
Wait, you
Other times, I
did
let the
what?
office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left.
No, I got
But
this.
I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are
Oh,
precious
you're
additional
such
seconds.
generous.
Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
Yeah, I can't
Is it
figure
that
out
you
what
have
I'm
no
doing.
idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer
What the hell does that
something in
mean?
this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button.
Just keep
screen
slapping these
to
buttons.
screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons. No, these colored ones.
Ooh,
or maybe
orange.
this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why
Green
do you think that,
incorrect.
Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley,
Wait, look for a red one.
you're in for quite a disappointment.
Okay.
But here's a
Red
spoiler
one.
for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along.
Damn it.
It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment.
Yeah,
that you're
well,
powerless.
I'm not gonna
To see
die.
you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world.
You know
that's
what? You're a
fine.
tragedy, dude.
But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30
Okay,
seconds until
this
a
is
big
getting
boom
really
and
intense.
nightmare.
427.
No one here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life?
Oh, I have an
or will you
idea.
let it go peacefully? Another choice.
I'm gonna try
Make
hitting
it
the off
count.
button.
Or don't. It's all the same to me.
Oh, please let me get there.
And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from
Run.
the moment we fade in until
Go.
the moment I say happily.
No, please. Whoa. Hello? Hello? Huh? Okay. What the fuck? This bastard's been controlling me.
All of his co-workers
No, shut
were
the fuck
gone.
up.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Perhaps. But I know I did not miss a memo. Couldn't have. Oop. Okay. Computer. Ooh, awaiting input. I can give you an input. Input received. Ooh. Do. Hello? Hello? Okay, so. I'm gonna call this guy.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Why is there a. That's just weird. Somebody just sits there and sharpens pencils all day. Okay. What a spooky little game this is.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
He
he
went-
entered the door on his left.
Joke's on you!
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee
No.
lounge first, just to admire it.
I'm gonna call you Dinkleberry. Dinkleberry.
Wow.
Dinkleberry the
This
narrator.
room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Hey, I'm just gonna stand here and do jack diddly shit. You.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Really worth it.
You
being
fixed
here
my
in the room.
microphone. Damn
A
it.
room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings.
That's a gorgeous
Really worth
chair.
it.
Gorgeous. Look at the painting. It's Rocky Mountains.
At this point,
Beautiful.
Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Hey, you're the
It's possible
guy that
this
just
is why
watches me all
everyone
day.
left.
Ticky, ticky, ticky. Tick, tock. Tick, tock. Tick, tock.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue.
Correction,
When
standing.
a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
No, ain't moving. This is my area. I will not budge. Did you get annoyed yet? Drinking a milkshake right now. Trying to control my life? Absolutely not. You're in real deep, pal. Alright, fine, I'll move.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nope. Absolutely not.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I follow directions 24/7, 365 days a year for the past 25 years of my life. See, what we got here? Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift. $1,000. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift. $5,000. Okay. What if I just hop off?
But in his eagerness
Oh
to
my
prove
gosh.
that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley.
Take him.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
That's right. They call me Rebel. Rebel Stanley.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Well, I know the memo, buddy. I remember everything.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Okay, we'll go to the left. We'll be a good boy today. Oh, the meeting room.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve a dispute with coworkers. Let it ball up inside of you. Take it out passive-aggressively on others' coworkers. Damn it. Using slides to ensure employees that everything is okay. Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and the... Okay, you know what? Just whatever. I don't even want to read that. Alright, we're
Coming
gonna...
to a staircase,
go up
Stanley
here.
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
That's right. Going up. I am up.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. appeasing.
Because I'm an
He stepped into the
intelligent
newly
man.
opened passageway.
Uh-huh. Sure did. Smart little cookie I am. Gets me every time.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Let's see what kind of ending you're gonna give me. I know this is fake.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Can't believe we have to do this story. Cameras?
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
You mean nothing. You mean nothing to me.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Mr. Narrator, Dinkleberries.
Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
I'll only let Dinkleberry up there get his ending for once.
Labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again.
Right, turned it off. You're welcome. Way ahead of you, buddy. Wanted to narrate, you can't narrate. I won't let you narrate. Finish.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
That's right.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Yes.
What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
And so my life of quote-unquote freedom begins. Like, how the hell does this facility even exist like this?
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Nope, I'm not feeling happy. Beat the Stanley Parable. Okay. Well, everyone, I'm going to leave it here for this episode. Since we've gotten two of the very obvious endings out of the way. And I still don't know where my facility, my coworkers are. And it kind of worries me as being Stanley, and I've worked here my entire life, and I love obeying instructions, but I think after learning some harsh truth that I am going to need to investigate further. Anyway, everyone, I think that's all I have time for this episode. If you enjoy this content, please give it a like. If you want to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Odyssey, or Rumble. And please go check out my Twitter for any goofy posts. Anyway, everyone, please have a great day. See ya!